Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Path. It is Dara and Brian here with you today for another installment of Competitive Insights, and it is Balanced Data Slate Day, or Balanced Data Slate Day minus several because of the rather amusing drop that we had last Friday of the pseudo balanced data slate,
Yep.
which caused all manner of consternation. And I love it. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, this whole scenario and process made me regret ever switching from Android to Apple because they pushed the update only out on Android phones. And for a brief second there, everybody saw a glimpse of the future. And then GW yanked it back, and then too much of it was out there, so they just gave it to us. So
Hmm.
we've been sitting in this weird, like, limbo up until pretty recently where, like, we've just had our notepads out viciously writing lists
Oh, it was old
because
school. It was
it
super
was
old
old school,
school.
and let me tell you, like this was not like a sad list writing for a GT coming up. Like every world leader out there, I haven't seen one negative reaction to this slate for world leaders. I think it's an exciting time
I
for world
I
leaders.
I'm gonna make a pretty bold statement here. I think in terms of like where this positions us in the meta, I think this is the best slate for world leaders in 10th edition.
I think since we've had a codex, this is the strongest we've probably ever been, and that is my prediction going into this meta.
Since we've had a codex, you mean like ever, or you mean in 10th
Ever, I
edition?
think, since including ninth, I think this is
Okay.
I think this is the strongest we have been.
Mm,
Um, just as a formalized non-CSM faction.
yeah.
Granted, I don't think that takes much to beat from the CSM times, but
I think a lot of that is actually like obviously the buffs that we've gotten here, which are not like crazy, but like definitely
it
impactful. But it's how the meta is going to shape
and,
based on what's happened to other factions. It really is going to suit us, I think.
and we're going to break down specifically the specifics about our buffs, but broadly the implications, because we're going to talk through every faction briefly and kind of how we see play into them too. Um, Broadly speaking, going from index to the codex, right? A lot of matchups were determined by the lack of our ability to deal with certain problems because we didn't have the tools to deal with those problems. We basically didn't have any guns in Index, and we were really bad at skirmishing in the Index, right? That's why we were playing the five-man Berserker squad, which was pretty good at that. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good at that. That was why we were the RB2K. That was the five-man Berserker squad. Codex came around, and we unlocked really good skirmishing, like really good spawner, bananas, goremongers, pretty good. Jackals with a million more attacks, pretty good, right? And we also got good gun platforms in the form of the Forge Fiend. The Kalos saw a glow up in terms of its gun output. Freaking Land Raider just dropped 20 points. Thing's got 8 las cannon shots on it, right?
I'll
So
sleep on it.
we had another tool, right? We had good skirmishing, really devastating melee, and we had really good shooting. Well, not good, really good, but like good enough shooting. The one thing that kind of didn't follow us over from the index to the codex was our anti-tank. And boy, howdy, do we have answers to knights now.
Yeah,
So,
we just got
uh,
anti-tank in a big way.
so I think we'll hold off till we get to the world leader data slate changes before we like break that too in depth because I'm just probably going to go down a rabbit hole there. But I'm really excited. I am really excited for the state of world leaders. I feel like we have every tool we need to do well in this meta.
I would
So,
say the biggest miss from the slate, before we start really diving into it, is that it did nothing really to alleviate the internal imbalance between our detachments. Aside from Slaughterman now actually like being honestly quite viable, um, it hasn't really done anything for, we'll say, like Gortrak or Vessels. Because, I mean, perfect example before we started the show, I read through a Vessels list that I had written for Brian, and then it was literally just a warband list that he wrote, and I was like, "Yep, it's just much better in warband." And there's no two
and
ways about it. You can't. Vessels in particular, I think you really struggle to build a list that like differentiates itself from warband. Um, and Gortrak, it's really come out in the wash from this data slate. Like maybe you gained a couple of points here and there, but broadly speaking, I would say it's only the people who are maybe thinking about running double land raiders are the ones who are benefiting the most in that detachment. And look, that sucks. It's like good problems in the sense of like we have an extremely
Yeah,
powerful
I mean,
detachment.
broadly, I mean, and we'll get into it more, but broadly, World Leaders got better as a whole, but Berserker Warband got disproportionately better. And in the ways that it did get better, I feel like it even drowned out other armies like Khorne again. Like, great. What's the point of having Scarbrand now? I mean, Scarbrand's really cool and he hits things really hard, but the one thing that he had up on Warband is he was the best anti-tank unit in the Codex. Well, he's not the best anti-tank unit in the Codex anymore.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's just hop right into.
Uh, So we're gonna skim through like kind of key changes for other factions first before we get to the world leaders, and probably gonna talk a little bit about a couple of lists. I think it's worth caveating right now at the start. This video is gonna be a little bit more about the maybe the more unorthodox list that you could bring in the post data slate world, whereas we've got another video coming out over the next week or so, where Brian and Jack Harpster are going to be talking a lot about the like really top end competitive options that are available to world leaders. This is my indulgence of I want to talk about Slaughterband and some other stuff, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And if you're into, I mean, we're going to talk about everything
Yeah,
right
there's still
now.
going to be pretty big Berserker Warband implications here, but we are going to go
Absolutely.
way more in depth in terms of the nuts and bolts of what I really am
Of the
going to be
slate.
looking at
Yeah.
in my what I'm going to be looking at this point, taking to Worlds, right? This is the conversation of what is the best possible world leader list I can field and take in a format of competitive sharks. So
Yep.
without further ado, Slate is up on the screen. Um, well, like I said, we're just going to skim through this and highlight the key changes.
Yeah.
Starting
There's
off,
nothing really in the core
yeah,
rules that have
core rules
changed.
actually nothing changed in the core
Yeah.
rules. Um, and it isn't here. But it is worth saying that challenger cards are dead. Like everybody has heard the good news. The
Yep.
one thing that I would like to talk about challenger cards being dead is that was probably one of the worst things that could have happened to us is challenger cards being created. We aren't really an army that like if we are receiving challenger cards other than just like a turn one fluke of your opponent scored
And
10
you
points on
didn't.
secondaries,
Yeah.
like and you scored like three and you're like, oh boy, challenger card. But turns to two, three, and four, if you're drawing challenger cards as a world leader player, something's going really wrong, right?
You're probably losing the
You're,
game.
I
Yeah.
mean that you're drawing challenger cards, you are losing, but you're like
Yeah.
super losing, right? Because
Yeah.
we're a pressure army, right? You should be knocking your opponent off their expansion objective turns two, three, four. Probably you're tabled by then, and your opponent gets to pick up the pieces. And then that's what we used to do, is that the index times we would kick your opponent in your teeth as hard as they could, and you'd probably table yourself, and you'd pray for an Angron revive just to make it more annoying. And on the last turn, your opponent's struggling to come back from a 50-point deficit, right? That's typically what we did. And Challenger cards made that significantly harder because it went from a 50-point deficit to fucking 30-point deficit, right? So that was really annoying, and it was also really easy to score like 25 points in the bottom of turn anyways. Add a Challenger card on top of that and the other points that they got. So them being gone helps melee pressure armies substantially. Like orcs love this. We love this. Space Wolves love this. Blood Angels love this. Every melee army in the game just had a giant sigh of relief that the shooting armies that just hide in the corner and just blast us off the table by turn three don't just get like free wins because they get 12 extra points because they are uninteractive and don't play the game. Uh, that's my
Fair.
salt. I gotta just twist the knife a little bit there. So the implications of challenger cards being gone, yay, they sucked, but also you're going to see melee armies start to perform more. We're going to score like a 10-point differential more than our opponents on average, I'd say.
Okay. So sisters, they got like a little buff to their retributors. Otherwise, like nothing interesting. I don't think there's much to talk about there.
Yep, core rules. I
Um,
mean, sisters were like already a strong army, and
yeah,
uh,
they're still going to be fine. They're
they're
going to
still
be absolutely mid-table heroes.
slowly recovering from getting absolutely cratered like two slates
Yeah.
ago. Haha.
Custos didn't really get anything, and we beat them with our eyes closed anyway, so fine. Admech,
AdMech.
like Call got a bit of a glow up, and a bunch of their other like vehicle-based units, I think, got slightly better um stat lines. Like cool. Probably still not going to see a lot of AdMech players around, so I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I legitimately think the army is very good now,
Yeah,
right?
it's good. I think they're just like they're still suffering, you know, and that's kind of fair. Like they're suffering mentally. If I was an AdMech player and it's taken this long for the army to be like genuinely good, yeah, I think I'm probably playing like Trench Crusade or like the old world at this point, you know?
But realistically, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an uptick in AdMech players. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Richard Siegler's probably just like gonna come like straight from like a monster under the bed and come just club everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
Right
like
now, it's his time
Cole
now.
has Cole has Oath of Moment
Both
now.
of the moment now,
It's
which
good. Yeah,
used
it's
to be
good.
like reroll hit rolls of one, and I was like, okay, that's cute. Now he's just like, hey, that thing over there, that thing's dead.
Yeah.
They got a lot more consistency. As you can see, they got Oath of the Moment. They got Twin Linked on a bunch of their guns.
I know
Fall.
one of the Onager profiles like changed completely, but yeah, whatever. I haven't seen an Onager since 8th edition, so
Uh, they're actually not bad. I'll say right now, there's like the Iron Halo list, or is it the that's like the robot focus list I actually played into, and that's actually very scary for world leaders. Like AdMech can stack up a bunch of negative modifiers where they're just like, yeah, you're -1 to hit, and I have a 4-up invuln, and I have like a 5-up feel no pain, and if you don't kill me, I regen. It can actually be quite annoying matchup for world leaders, and I think the more annoying part is that none of us know how to play against them because they don't exist. So if they start coming out of the woodworks, we're gonna have to really figure out how to deal with them soon.
I
I
think
think
they're
they're
going to continue not to exist, so no stress.
Eldari, no changes.
They got points changes. They made Azerman and the Dire Avengers a bit cheaper, and
Yeah,
and and the Avatar,
we'll,
who's
we'll,
like the
we'll talk,
ultimate dude.
yeah, we'll talk about points in a little bit, but as far as
Yeah.
changes go, there's pretty much no other major changes.
Oh,
Blood Angels
okay.
Sanguinary Guard, yeah, they are actually like an actual interesting change, I'd say, versus the
Yeah,
last change they got was not interesting. It was just it was like a why. So everybody was complaining about Sanguinary Guard being 110 points, which was, I'd say, a valid complaint. So instead of them being 110 points for three really good bodies, now they're like 125, 135 points. I think they're 135.
I believe so. Yeah.
And they went to hitting on two, so now they're just functionally Custodes or Venatari or whatever you call the flying ones. They literally are just a Venatari. Um,
And
got
their
an extra
spear got more attacks.
Yeah, and their spear got more attacks, which makes it an interesting choice over the sword. Dante, if he was attached, gave them +1 to hit. So this is really encouraging MSU Sanguinary Guard squads running around.
Which
And
is
if you're,
very, very powerful.
which is, they're basically just 8 bound. And
Yep.
then if you're playing them in Liberator Assault Group, they go to Strength 8 Lance, which is functionally like +2 to wound into most things, like they're wounding Death Shroud Terminators on
Twos.
twos, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's pretty cool, I guess. Granted, you're giving up an AP for that, but broadly, I think that's actually pretty good trade. So
I
pretty
wouldn't be
good.
surprised to see like quite a bit of BA springing up as well again. I
Yeah,
think they're in a nice little position.
because they have land access to Lance Lethal all over their book. So it's
Hmm.
like you have three Sanguinary Guard bricks that all have Lance, and you have the other squad with Lance Lethal that you're giving to like Death Company or something. Functionally, the Blood Angels are just their army rulers on +2 to wound everywhere. That's just what it says
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chaos
Uh,
Demons.
no change
No,
really.
they did have a change. They did have a change.
Oh, they did in
Uh,
Legion of Excess.
they're bringing Legion of Excess back out, which was actually a really cool. I really liked when they dropped them. We were super hyped about it when they dropped all the mono god detachments for demons. Nobody saw it coming. It was just like one day there were four more demon detachments, and then they added Bellicors, right? That was really cool. It was really sad to see what they did to the Slanesh one because it was like kind of annoying to play against. It wasn't even like it was good. It put up a good win rate, but at a competitive level, it had a hard time converting wins at top tables. And GW was like, ah, I see that you're playing an army that people find annoying. Let's just kill it and be done with it. And that's what they did. And they're trying to bring it back. So I'm glad to see that it's a super interesting army at the time.
Okay, big one
Uh,
here.
yep.
CK Chaos Knights. So, functionally Infernal Lance, you now have to choose between either having a 5-up invuln or a 6-up Feel No Pain, which is super nice that you can't just be like, I've got both anymore.
Yeah, 'cause
Um, so anything that knocks their durability down. Yep,
any
really
in
happy
but
about that.
I'd say broadly that's like not very relevant to the wider meta. Like how many things in
Super relevant for us though.
Yeah, I was getting to that part. I was gonna say how many
Yeah.
things in melee are giving a knight no save, right?
Mm.
Not many in melee, like Primarchs or Exalted
Exalted
Hate.
hate bound.
So it's pretty relevant for us, right? I don't know, probably the 5-up invuln's the better one to pick of the two. So the Feel No Pain, definitely actually probably the 5-up invuln if you're playing
Yeah.
into us. But it's nice that they don't have both now. I'll say that is strictly better for us. So
Yep.
good to see it. Lords of Dread also lost that annoying 5 CP sticky strat from being anytime, anywhere you want it to be just their command phase, which just like everybody else. I don't know why they needed like a strictly better version of Sticky that also had unlimited timing. Now it's just a strictly better version of sticky, and
Yeah.
it's still good. It's still problematic. We still can't do anything about it. Your exalted 8 pound, that new exalted 8 pound slaughterbound squad you're playing gets to stare at the floor because that is not getting unstickied. Um,
It's still pretty annoying. And then the abominants can't like spam their ability on this on the same squad with multiple abominants,
yeah.
which I've had happen to me, and honestly, it's like, come on,
Well, when people
leave me
shove,
alone.
yeah, and then they shove. Now we have a change with their abominants. Now it's instead of a guy being within 9 inches of one abominant, it's one or more abominants. So you don't just get sent to the Shadow Realm just because you're within 9 inches of three abominants. You're like, oh no, I'm taking 6 mortal wounds per squad, and you lose 200 points of 8 bound before they even start shooting at you. That just wasn't fun at all. Right? I was on the receiving end of that when Colin did that to me at at Dare and Doom. I was just like, can make it stop, please.
Yeah, no, it's bad times for sure.
CSM, no changes. Oh
I
look, the
think, yeah, CSM got some points, I think. The
yeah,
line changed
points.
again.
Yeah, which now he just joined Gillum and being able to choose two abilities. It's actually a pretty good change for him. I mean, as a
No,
Dark
it's
Angels,
definitely good. Yeah, it's for
as
sure
a
good.
up and coming Dark Angel stand myself, and as somebody in this lobby that needs to be painting Dark Angels for me,
Shut up.
um, at the start of the round, you get to pick two abilities, which is really relevant because they gave him a really cool ability. Like the Lion can uppy downy, which is funny because he can turn one ingress your opponent. Um, And also the reroll once to hit and wound was just like if you weren't gonna uppy downy him, that's nice. So but functionally he reads, he always has a 4-up feel no pain to mortal wounds now, which
Yeah.
was his biggest weakness. You would like say, I'm gonna play Lionel Johnson, and then your opponent would shove three abominants at him and you'd be like, ah, disappear from the table. Or
I'm
you'd
in
get to do both
trouble.
of them. Which you still probably are. I mean, you're still gonna take a lot of damage to mortal wounds. That's like nobody wants to charge Mr. 3-up invuln fights first, kills anything on contact. So being able to have the 4-up feel no pain at all times and uppy downy. Maybe we'll actually start seeing the line on the table. And as far as implications for world leaders, I mean, he's a very scary model to have to deal with. You better have all of your fights first, how to get around that tricks in your back pocket because he's pretty scary. And I don't know, maybe we'll have some content coming out soon talking about how to get around fights first.
Cool.
Death Guard, none. Perfectly balanced army. Some would say underpowered.
Honestly, I'm happy about that. I'm glad that they didn't like double tap Death Guard in the Bulls, Like, I'm not like a crazy big fan of any faction except for Orcs and Votann getting double tapped. Those ones can get double tapped into the sun. Every other one, I'm like, be gentle. And I think Death Guard are honestly like quite fine now. After the points changes, I really don't think they're like a massive problem.
Yeah, we really felt that change in our team comps from practicing is that uh, they still have a lot of really like the rules are really strong. Like when they
Yeah,
hit
but they
you,
have like a
nothing's
tiny
changed.
footprint.
Yeah, yeah, nothing's changed. You're still gonna feel the hurt when the heavy blight launcher drone kills three 8 pound. You're still gonna feel the pain when those Lord of Contagions come down with three Death Shot Terminators and slam right into you, right? The problem is they have less of that. They
Mm,
either have less muscle or they have less trash,
mm.
which really deteriorates their ability to play the game. They're gonna kill you, but can they score points as efficiently? No, they can't.
I think
And
they're still in a kind of like finding out stage in terms of like what do they want their list comp to look like because they're still very
and
much leaning into the damage
and
output.
now that we have an answer, just straight up have an answer to Mortarion. Before it used to be like, that dude's annoying. I'm gonna do something about him eventually too. Like he better mind his P's and Q's. He better be watching his 9-inch bubbles. But we'll get to that.
You
Drakari,
just
no
skipped
changes.
Drakari. What the hell? What do you
They
mean
have
no
no.
changes? Their
Well, they have
codex
their
is coming.
codex came out. Yes. Okay. My only comment on the codex is I was on a call with Folger and we were just sitting there chatting. And he sees what the Mistress Murder or whatever her name is, like the new Drakari
Oh,
character.
lady stamp on me.
So, Folger's like, "Oh, look, here's her rules. I'm gonna like," and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm busy doing something. I think I was like building a new world leader list in like TTS. I was like, read me your rules." And he was like, "Oh, well, she lets you redeploy 3 units." I was like, "Oh, solid. That's great. That's actually really cool for Drukhari." It's like he's like, "And she's a Vex," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, and then she's like, "And she has a 5 of Feel No Pain," and I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "And she has like some badass gun with hazardous." Okay, cool. That's why she has the 5 of Feel No Pain. And he's like, "Yeah, and she also like." has a million attacks at damage 3, I think dev wounds or something.
She
I'm
does,
just
yeah.
like pulling this from memory, so excuse me if I'm
No,
wrong. But
you're correct. Yeah, she does have
it,
damage 3 dev wounds.
so she's kills 8-bound. She keeps you from -1 damaging to make sure the 8-bound die. And all of the scourges where you thought you were safe deploying from are on the other side of the table where you're not safe from deploying from.
Yeah.
And it was
I
something like
I
85, 90 points. And I was just like, oh, come on. This is some. And then he hits me with but it's T3, so it's fine. And I was like, I just wanted to have I was just, I think I crashed out for a little bit there.
one of my good buddies, Jay, they're really big into their Dark Elder, and we were playing D&D last week, and on the way to D&D in the car, we were just like talking through some possible combos, and one funny one that we found was it's quite easy actually to get the Hand of the Archon, that new kind of like elite Cabalite squad. It's really, really easy to get them a squad of 10 of those guys to OC 55 on a point.
Isn't this what Guard was doing to us for a hot second?
OC 55 with 10
You know what?
models. You leave
There.
you leave one alive and it's still out contesting your 8 band and slaughter band.
I'm excited to see what the Codex brings. I know there's quite a few changes in there. I haven't had enough time to tear it apart. Drakari,
I've gone through it like pretty extensively
I'd say
because I find them
Drakari.
quite interesting, and I genuinely think that this is like I don't know if you played back in ninth when the Custodes Codex came out and the entire Custodes fan base was like, this book is terrible, and it was actually like really good. I think that's about to happen with
What are you talking
Drakari.
about? That happened to World Leaders when we have.
Actually, yeah, it's really similar to the World Leader
I've
reaction.
noticed like of course like going through the cesspool of Reddit and immediately looking at all the Drakari crying posts and I don't know. It's giving me flashbacks right now, and I'd say I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're good.
Go fast, hit hard. Move. Anytime you have a high movement army that allows for skill expression, I always have doubts that the book is going to be inherently bad.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they're good. We'll see how they play out.
First children.
EC.
So we had one relevant change here. Flawless blades go up to 4 attacks as somewhat of a EC enjoyer myself. That's actually very big. That's huge, right? 9 attacks, hitting on twos, anti everything 3 up. Was like cute because it was only 2 damage apiece, and I was like really inconsistent at killing profiles that they were meant to be killing, right? Like that's really awkward into Marines because if they pop any form of damage reduction, you just whiff and you kill like 3 and then you die. If you go into an Armiger, right, you got to do 7 successful wounds, so you better not drop any dice along the way, which you're going to drop along the way, right? Um, them going to 4 attacks takes that math where they were like 1 to 2 dice off of killing you to +1 to 2 over killing you on that math into like a Rhino or an Armiger or a 5-man squad of Marines with a defensive buff or something, right? So I actually think Flawless Blades were already slept on a little bit. That's my hot take, is I think they're nowhere near as bad as people thought they were. And they didn't get a point cut or point increase, and they just got like a 33% damage increase.
It ain't bad.
It ain't bad. So, I mean, for World Leaders, I don't fear them, right? We can still pop -1
No, no,
damage.
yeah.
There's still 3 wounds. The Forge Fiend just kind of sneezes and they're gone. Khorne will literally, you could split his attacks and he'll probably kill that squad and the Lord Exalted squad that he was going into. It's fine. Fulgrim got the funniest rule change ever. It was like felt like the what
He
the
can move through terrain he could already move through.
yeah. If you read the GW terrain packet, it says that all terrain pieces not on the 4x6 pads are bigger than 4 inches. So congrats. He can't. It doesn't do anything. Just doesn't do anything. And
Does
for
nothing.
I mean, if you're at home and you're a narrative player, haha, you can use your challenger cards. If you're a narrative player at home, which is, I'm not making fun of you, narrative beer and pretzels is the way to play this game. Maybe it's great there. Maybe he sees some redemption on that table. But he's still, even with a points cut, unplayable, in my opinion, competitively. I mean, I'm still going to play him because he's a demon Primarch and he's cool. And Dara has things to do when it comes to that, too.
Yep.
All right, Gene Stealer Colts.
They got a ton of changes, but I don't know what any of them do. I haven't played Gene Circles, I think, in like a year at least.
I mean, I have run into them a surprising amount. Aberrant's got to change to their resurgent points. I don't know what it was at before. It's at 4 now.
Could be up, could be down. Who knows?
Hopefully Biosanctum is actually a really cool way to see Gene Stealer Colts played. I really liked like the Let's Go Gambling. Where it was like every time they declared a new target of a charge, they got +1 to their charge. So they just like would declare 5 things as a target of a charge with 6 aberrants or 10 aberrants, and then just yeehaw, and like come out of deep strike with a 4-inch charge or something. I think it was capped at 3, but still, that was like my favorite way to see that detachment played. My least favorite way was to them to my least favorite archetype in general was like the 120 guardsmen that drop from the sky and lift you off the table. So seeing Ascension House, which apparently did get nuked quite hard. Um, and I know I've seen a lot of complaints about that. Broadly, we had a good matchup into Gene Stealer Colts, regardless of their variation. So I'm not really that
I'm not
scared.
too stressed. Yeah.
I'm not too stressed about them now, especially since they broadly got nerfs.
Suck it,
Uh,
Grey Knights.
Grey Knights got nothing.
God, that army got fucking
Wait, we
absolutely
haven't
shafted in
talked
10th
about their,
edition.
but they got their codex, which basically is nothing because they're playing
Yeah.
Warpaint. Oh, they lost Drago.
Yeah, God, that army got shafted harder than any other army in this game. Like demons came out better with them, and they don't even have a codex.
Eh, Imperial Agents. Meh.
That's just like the other Grey Knight army. Whatever.
They got some points cuts.
It's fine.
Imperial Knights. They kind of got tapped on the head a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, before they released. I know there was all that Reddit doom and gloom panic, which was actually valid. On a lot of
Yeah.
GW layouts, the Knight player could, on average, make it to your
It
deployment
wasn't
zone.
just GW, it was like every layout.
I mean, that's all I've seen, and that's all I can confirm. It was
Yeah.
every layout, but on the Games Workshop recommended tournament packet, a Knight player used to, let's say, actually, we'll start from the beginning. It's day one of 10th edition. You're going to go to your first RTT. You're going to have a good time. This was me. This is me going to go have a good time with my 180 point Exalted 8 pound and my 170 point Mauler Fiends. Brian's like, yeah, new edition. We're going to go play. And then Old Towering just night goes Bert and blows me off the table because he can see me through a pipe, through a window, through a crack in the wall. Right. And that was where we started. We started the edition being tabled by Knights in our deployment zone because we didn't go first. And we were about to end the edition that way. And GW thankfully saw that was going to be a problem and changed that. So
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, ah, full circle.
And
Sweet,
you
cool.
know what I like? I like that they reviewed the stratagems and they were like, you know what? Maybe like a one CP stratagem to affect like 1,200 points worth of models was not a great idea. And they dialed it back, and now you can only do it on one night instead of three. And I don't care if you're a night player and you're like, oh, but I had to be within 9 inches of a certain point in the battlefield. That wasn't hard. You are fucking huge. It is so easy to do that.
It
Um,
also helps when you can go through walls and you can step over anything you want. It's like nice
yeah,
infiltrators. I hope you place them perfectly with like, oh, also because you place those infiltrators there, I'm honored now.
yeah.
That was the other part. It was like well, you can stop them from running at you and shooting you in your deployment zone if you
They
put
just
units in
get
front
three
of them,
CP.
and then they just get 3 CP and get honored, and you're just like, oh,
Yep.
dang it.
Now they also can't re-roll their advances. It's just like advance and get assaults, which is fine.
Votan's too new. Silent King, he got a big change.
Yeah,
Which isn't, I mean, it's kind of relevant for us,
it's
but not
quite
really.
semi-lateral change, I would say.
He was the last ignores modifier in the game. I think there's a couple strats that do it now,
Are you
but
sure?
as far as a datasheet abilities,
Angron has it.
he's the last relevant ignores modifier unit in the game. Um,
See, I knew you were
I mean,
gonna
I'm
slip
honestly
up
more
as soon as
scared
you.
of the +2 to move. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's much better.
he's gonna get around our -1 damage. Big whoop. Okay, yeah, when you -1 a Silent King, he's just gonna laugh at you, right? Because it's actually he is like a 12 attack damage to sweep.
Silent King fucking
Um,
clapping the Nightbringer on the ass and sending him off the table now seems like definitely a lot more scary.
well,
But
we have a dude for that guy now.
that's true.
And
That's true.
we have an answer for that. But +2 to move is kind of scary in Star Shatter when you have a Doomsday Arc just like going the speed of like just
Doom
light,
itself.
literally coming to bring doom to your deployment zone. Why is
Yeah.
the end of the edition every gun needs to go 20 inches and shoot? Is it
Yeah.
a gun's just bad if it can't go 20 inches and shoot? Apparently, right now, Forge Fiends are too slow. We should cut them. Um,
Oh
Orcs.
God.
So, I would argue they're one of the big winners of the slate, and to Dara's dismay, Commandos can now split into 5-mans, which is really obnoxious. That is so
Yeah,
obnoxious.
because you get the double bomb squig, right?
No, 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 no. It hasn't been ruled on yet, formally by GW if you get the double bomb squig or not, but every single TO knows not to allow it. There's plenty of other instances where you don't get to duplicate war gear. I would go ahead and just wait
Mm.
for them to drop an FAQ on that. I haven't seen a single event playing it, letting you double bomb squig. That would be a little toxic. The more toxic thing is they get to double infiltrate you.
Yeah.
Um, or they can do all the benefits of infiltrating for half the price and then put the commandos in the back and use them as a scoring unit or a screening unit, right? That's really good for them. I mean, that's really annoying for us. That's really annoying. That just means that, like, what, how many points? They're not that many points.
Oh, they're basically free.
It's like 40 points at orcs stop you from scouting, which is great.
Yeah.
Cool. More Nurgling-esque units, and I mean, fine. Gaz can join boys now, which is fine because it's like 20 boys plus Gaz and a pain boss is actually pretty durable and scary unit. But Khorne and the boys got that one covered. So I think that won't be super scary. You just shoot
Is
it with a
Gaz
full.
monster or infantry?
He's infantry. He's like Abaddon.
Boo.
He's like
Boo.
massively huge, and then he's like not treated like
I was thinking we just found another one of those like Hive Tyrant plus Hive Guard moments.
yeah. I'm like 99% sure he's not monster.
Yeah.
If he is, Slaughterbound's got him covered.
Hmm.
And Slaughterbound's probably got him covered anyways. But the 20 boy squad, maybe we see it. I don't really think so. It's like a 500 point unit. That's really hard to hide. Sounds similar. Because that's just going to rely on getting up in people's faces, tying stuff up, and having Gaz and Makari be at the end of that, being as the main damage dealer. Um,
I don't want to talk about orcs anymore.
wait, well, we're still going to talk about it because there's more to talk about.
Oh God. Do we have to? I hate them so much.
The kill rig is no longer a vehicle now; it's a monster, which makes sense because it's a giant ass dinosaur. Sorry,
Sure.
squig.
Sure. So I can't tank shock anymore, I guess.
Uh, that's funny. Get tank shock removed from your data sheet. And
And
there.
like to no possible benefit. Oh, you probably can't careen with it anymore, actually. Because I
Uh,
think you have to be a vehicle to careen.
I am not sure. I'm not an orc expert, and I
Because
hate this.
I was talking to
Now I
someone.
want to stop talking about orcs because
Yeah,
Kareen
no,
lives
because
in my nightmares.
someone I think before was asking if you could careen a squiggoth, and you couldn't because it was a monster.
Okay. No space marine changes. Yay!
Yay.
Space Wolves nothing because they're brand new.
Boo.
Riptides went to
Got
strength
better at
10.
killing light vehicles.
That's and Terminators.
Not actually not bad. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, like Riptides were kind of their data sheet
Was it?
sucked.
It was like 8. Yeah, well, it didn't suck.
It didn't
It's
suck, but it
just,
was just like,
it's
what the
just
hell? Why is this thing so big and like hitting me on like strength 8?
Yeah, it was like I definitely saying it sucked as a stretch. It definitely sucked in specific scenarios, and it found itself in those scenarios quite frequently.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just have a rhino get shot at by Riptide and I'd be like, "Oh, actually, I'm fine, fine. No,
Yeah.
nothing happened. That was just overhyped." So yep,
Now the Rhino is probably not fine.
probably not. Leave my rhinos alone. Haha, Thousand Suns moment.
I don't like this, man. I'm not gonna lie. I actually don't like the changes for T-Suns. I really, really dislike this whole thing now of like, oh yeah, if you attempt a ritual, regardless of whether or not you pass it, you just like can't attempt that one again. Like, man, like that's just like bad game design because it's like, oh, my army rule, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm like, that's dumb. You know,
Does that
it's like a
sound
blood
familiar?
dice.
Yeah, does
Yeah,
it sound
it like
familiar?
I was talking to
Okay,
Dave
but
from Tiskin Podcast about this, and he was just like, I feel like I've just been world leader. And I'm like, yeah, man. At
first
least I
time.
have like mechanics around it, you know?
Yeah. Okay, well, they have mechanics around it. I'm gonna go ahead
They
and say that.
do, they
I'm gonna
do.
go ahead and say that a little bit of that is overhyped, right? Like, turns out having Oath of the Moment as an army rule in addition to 3 other army rules, pretty strong. Magnus is +2 to cast. You can throw a third die in there, and you're almost guaranteed to cast every spell. Like, guaranteed to cast every spell. Actually, not guaranteed, but like statistical anomaly if you were not rolling like a 7 or an 8 with 3d6 +2.
Yeah.
Magnus is still casting 2 spells. If anything, I think this would make Magnus like more auto include because now you have to get your spells off and you
Here
want
we
them
go
to be
again.
supercharged. Yeah, here we go again. But I mean, if you fail your spell, that's why you have the 1 CP. Reroll your 3 dice if you really want it that bad. But I think it's fine. All 4 of those spells, if they had 2 of them, I would say that's one of the strongest army rules in the game. But they have a third and a fourth, and all of them are incredibly relevant, incredibly powerful. And I don't know, like ninth edition spells were fairly inconsistent too. And I think those broadly looked at as
Yeah, but that wasn't your army rule, you know? It wasn't like,
fair.
oh, okay, cool. It's like you have a psychic phase
But
because you're a psychic army, but you still have
yeah,
an army rule.
yeah.
I I don't mind this as like a balancing act. I think it's fine. I just think as a game design rule, I don't like it. I don't like rules which are
Yeah,
like, no, you actually don't get an army rule. Like I just
sometimes
don't
it just doesn't pan out, bud. Sorry. I also feel that for us too. Like, just let me pick my blessings. I don't know. No,
Yeah.
don't do that. That's probably bad.
No, definitely don't do that.
Um, uh,
Anyway,
and then they let you what double Doom Bolt, because they said that you can't cast a spell twice. So they were
yeah.
like, hey, let's make sure you can cast a spell twice. And then they fixed the Sorcerer and Terminator armor, and they did get a pile of points increases, which if you zoom out and assume the half of the points that you went up on your list was only bow goats, that was probably deserved.
Yeah,
Um,
fair. Nids, I don't think got anything here.
nope. World
World leaders.
Eaters.
All right, we're here. Um, I tell
So
you what,
I'll
the
tell you
Slaughterbound
what.
getting a strength increase on his data sheet was like
Not on my
so
bingo
so
card.
far down on the bingo card.
Yeah.
Am I happy about it? Yep. Would I have preferred it on Berserkers? 100%. Yep. But am I going to say no? No, absolutely I'm not. I think it's like a we'll talk about that one first. This is the smaller one to talk about. It's like pretty cool. Obviously in warbands, hey, a disproportionate effect. He goes up to strength 12. That's fucking wild. Um, I mean,
That's,
yeah, look, it's great
I
breakpoints.
mean,
In all the other detachments, he can like run into most light tanks and just like probably beat them up now, which is nice. It was kind of annoying before, where if you pair him with Exalted 8 Bound, you're like, oh, the Exalted 8 Bound can like beat the crap out of a vehicle or monster, and then
and you
he's
just
like,
have like Tim
oh
hiding in the
God,
corner.
I'm
Yes.
really struggling here.
He's like, I hope I roll
Um,
dev wounds.
but now he will not be struggling, and now it might be like the reverse, where the Exalted 8 Band are just like cheerleading him on because
Yeah.
they got a really cool new rule.
And
You want
it's
to walk us
something,
through this one?
yeah, and obviously these two changes are very connected to each other.
Mm.
In one of many detachments, you can equip a +1 damage enhancement to the Slaughterbound, right? You have Arch Slaughter, you have Blade of Endless Bloodshed, and then you have Berserker Glaive. I think there's only three.
Yep.
You also have in Possess Slaughter +1 damage. You can
That's a
really
stratagem, not
strat,
a
yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, it's not an enhancement, it's a strat. But this is another source of +1 damage. You can crank this guy up to damage four in
Yep.
4 out of 6 World Leader detachments. Um, does he even need to be a damage four to murder things? No. What that means is stuff like Satan, Magnus -1 damage, um, Moritarian popping -1 damage in Vectorum. That means that he has like super duper consistency of still putting pain on them. Right? Because when he's equipped to Exalted 8 Pound, their change, which kind of skim past, is that when they're attacking monsters and vehicles, they get +1 damage now, which is huge. Because there was a good chance when 3 Exalted 8 Pound made contact with an Armiger, at 160 points, they didn't kill that Armiger. It was actually quite frequently. They just didn't. They just threes and threes with 15 dice, and it just doesn't pan out. Now it pans out actually quite consistently. And I think somebody was punching the math in the patron Discord channel, where it was like, if you walk in with Berserker Warband, which is 3 Exalted 8 Pound, you have lethal sustained and you pop +1 AP. You're doing like 27 damage to a knight on a big knight on average with just 3 Exalted.
I think it was 22. I don't think they
That was
actually
not that
fully
was
killed him.
without +1 AP. That was
Oh,
without
okay,
+1
right.
AP.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the +1 AP brought that up more. Um, Throwing the Slaughterbound in there and like you're like violently overkilling this poor knight. Like I said,
If you want to dial it up to 11, if you go to possess Slaughterband and you put a Slaughterband with crits 5 in the unit, and you give them +1 damage for a CP, you will on average kill a Reaver Titan, which is worth over 3,000 points. So if you want to make your points back 10 times over, this is the way to do it.
go find your
Um,
local Reaver Titan friend and challenge them to a
and
game.
kill him with 6 dudes.
So,
Because
this
he
is
can't
huge.
screen that ingress.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he can pick his model up and move it. It'll probably fall over and it'll be sad. That's usually what I've seen Titan players do is they just like never move it.
That's fair.
But I mean,
It's a phenomenal change. I mean, like we literally went from, as you said at the start of the video, having no really consistent and reliable anti-tank answer in our army outside of like some fringe choices to, oh yeah, like this unit that like pretty much everybody has in their collection and everybody has loved for a long time, will now consistently kill tanks quite easily. And the really great thing is when you attach anyone to this squad, they also get the damage boost. And the Slaughterbound is obviously the first candidate that everyone's thinking of. But like, I mean, we were talking about the potential of putting in Vicatus with these guys as well. because his magic pony also goes up to damage 3 now, or damage 4 in
And the Slaughterbound, you make it
other,
damage
yeah,
four because
in
it affects from there.
Slaughterbound, Invocatus, and 3 of these guys is like a genuinely terrifying threat.
And
Yeah, it's just like you've got a lot of options to consider here, and
and
really
yeah,
powerful buff.
we're gonna talk through some like cool lists here at the end of the video. We'll roll through points real quick because I think there's some more implications that we're
Hmm.
gonna get into with world
Yep.
leaders once we get to points. I'll switch us over
I think
to
like that's genuinely like the best possible change the Exalted could have gotten to number one, like differentiate them from the regular 8 band. They now have a very like distinct role. And number two, just like make them feel relevant in the army again, which is nice.
yeah, and like I said, the one thing we were lacking was a well-rounded toolbox, and now we have a fully well-rounded toolbox,
Mm.
which is a recipe for also being accompanied by point drops, which we'll see in a second.
Do we
Makes
want to skip
us,
straight to the world leader points?
yeah. I mean, a
A
few
lot of
armies
the
got some
talking points are,
love.
yeah.
Pretty much, I'd say, pretty much points wise. The uh data slate was kind of a wash for a majority of armies. They were like plus or minus 40 points. Sands, a couple. Of course, Eldar pretty much didn't change. Astral Tarim went up and down, mainly hitting their tanks, which is good. I'm always a fan of seeing that. Some like I said, just a couple models here and there went up or down. Not really swaying matchups too much for us. I'll
Land
say that
Raiders went down to 220 everywhere, which is
everywhere.
probably disproportionately affecting world leaders, I would
Fulgrim
say.
went down 25 points, whatever. I'm sad. Um, let's see, I'm getting to where are they? Where are they? The Imperial Knights got readjusted. Orcs is worth mentioning. I'll talk about them a little bit because I do think they are going to remain. You might cringe at this, one of our more challenging matchups. Warhorde Orcs is always not free. They have really, really good suite of melee strats, right? Minus one wound, fight on death, all that stuff. We've talked about that ad nauseum on this channel. Warhordes in general didn't really get much from this slate, unless you like really awkwardly lean into the points drops. Bully Boys got helped disproportionately. Like they got a ton of points back, which is nice to see because orcs have been suffering from one detachment or bust. I know Dara was saying at the beginning he doesn't like to see armies get nerfed 5 times unless they're orcs or Votann. Orcs is one of those armies that got nerfed 5 times over the course of one slate and a half.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
It was good, but it's good to see them at least trying to bring back some diversity. Uh, Space Marines went up and they went down for some reason. The 10 man
Nothing
assault.
happened there that's like particularly interesting, really.
I mean, it's annoying because my 2,000 point Gladius Dark Angels list went up 20 points because of the Dreadnoughts.
I don't
Uh,
care about your Dark Angels list.
hey, Bobby G went up 20 points.
Hell yeah.
Space
Wolves
Wolves,
actually, yeah. Head takers. How did head takers get away with this?
I don't
How do we
know.
keep letting head takers get away with this?
I
They are
don't know.
so insanely cheap. And like, I mean, okay, I guess Ragnar went up, so one of the head taker squads has gone up 10 points. What are they? Aren't they like 90 points or 80 or something for three
They're
units?
less. I think they're like
Yeah, they're like
75 or
insane.
something.
Where
Where
are
are
they?
they in here?
Oh, they're there.
Uh,
85 points for three, and they hit
okay.
like harder than 8 bands. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
But
Uh,
Space Wolves was a little too cheap. 4 up in Volney Army went up a little bit.
mm,
Now saw some buffs. I think they were the worst performing army in the game for quite consistently, other than Imperial Agents, but they don't count. Like I was saying, with Thousand Suns, Zangors went up quite a bit. It went up 30 points on the 6 man. So a lot of lists that were spamming 18 Bowgoats. Now 110 points for squad of 6 Bowgoats, which people are gonna like gut react to say, I'm gonna stop playing Bowgoats. No, they're broken. Still are. Turns out like was it 12 shots apiece at AP4 damage 2 precision, ignores cover, just was my biggest fear as a world leader player. Like if a Berserker squad ever stepped in front of one of these, it just disappeared. It's like 30
yeah.
inch range too. Like you're still gonna play your Bowgoats, just not 18 chill. Other than that, a couple of the characters went up 10, 5, 15 points, which hurts, but I think the army's still going to be in fine shape. I'm a little bit of a Thousand Suns.
Scarab's going down by 15 for a 10 man. I mean, like my buddy Michael sent me a list with like 30 Scarab Terminators in it.
Oh,
I wasn't like particularly scared of it, but like
no, Eaters love
I'm
3-wound models. Keep bringing the 3-wound
yeah,
models.
I'm worried that that can be a thing.
I don't think Thousand Suns are dead at all. These points are going to hurt them.
No, no, they're for sure not.
Like I said, the same thing's going to happen where you still table everything but Magnus and a Vortex Beast, and then they do a backflip, and then you're tabled. That's still going to happen. So Gene Stealer Colts didn't change much. All right, Eaters. Big Red drops 25 points, down to
And it
360,
doesn't
and
matter.
somehow he was a fringe choice before this, and now I don't think he's a choice at all, even though he got a 25 point drop. So
Thanks, Exalted 8 Band.
love you, Exalted. Land Raider down 20 points.
Actually,
The
like quite relevant, I think. Okay, let me have my no, fuck off. I see you rolling your eyes. Let me have
I'm
my
not rolling
moment.
my eyes. I was about to
I
say
saw
we actually
you.
have one of the more relevant Land Raider chassis.
We
Chill.
have the most Land Raider. Okay, apart from like the Redeemer, but like in terms of like the Godhammer pattern Land Raider, we have the best out of all of them by a mile. It's
I
not even
mean,
remotely
they're all
close.
the same as ours. Ours just hits better
Ours has
and
twice
has
as
better
many las
melee.
cannons and
That's
has better melee. In Berserker Warband, that thing can kill like most 10-man like elf equivalents.
with the tip between a tank shock and hitting
If
on
you
two
need a
sustained hits.
skirmisher for your like Eldar MSU matchup, you just send in the Land Raider and it'll
Jam that thing
skirmish
up
all
the middle.
day. No, but I mean like for real, right? Okay, because like obviously one of the things that have gone up here is Forge Fiends, which number one, I think have like gone up like disproportionately. Were they good? Yes, absolutely. Were they like deserving of a 20-point increase? No, they definitely weren't. 10 points would have been perfectly fine. Um,
That's so funny because I'm prepping another person on my in my Valkyrie club to play World Leaders at Challengers, and they were actually playing my Nova list, prepping that for Challengers Cup. And this is like a person that I won't call out specifically, but they were like one of the more complaining people about getting shot at by fortunes. They're like, fortunes are broken, fortunes are broken. And then they played a game of World Leaders into me. And I was like, so you can go 10 inches. All right, I'm gonna pre-measure 28.1 inches away from you. I have fun with your Forge Fiend. And they're like, wow, this thing is actually like sad, right?
yeah.
Because now you're just like, it doesn't do anything outside of 18 inches, which it
I
does
mean
a
like
little.
even when it's like in its happy range, right? I never really found them to be like ultra consistent. I was like, yeah, they're good. It's nice that they're there and they put a bit of fear in the opponent. But like to be honest, they never really like delivered like crazy. You know, I wasn't like
And
they were fine.
they felt disproportionately good because they are a good gun platform. And like I said at the start of this video, is they enabled our melee, right?
Mm,
It forced your opponents to respect us more. They had to clump up because the consequence of us having a 36 range shooting gun platform is your opponent has to now clump up behind ruins. And you know what we like? We like people that clump up in giant balls behind ruins because that means pile and consolidate six set slash sustained hits go burr when you alpha strike them, right? Versus when they're more
yeah,
spread out.
it was
It's
enabling our
like
play style for sure.
exactly. It definitely enables our playstyle. I don't see Forge Fiends dropping from too many lists. It is definitely still a choice to play them or not. I think now the argument for not is valid. But I think the argument to play them is still that they are going to enable that they're not going to do anything less than already happened. In fact,
Yeah.
if you remember my Dallas list that I played months and months and months ago, it was one 10-man Berserker brick with a bunch of 8-pound. That list actually didn't change in points because it had the Exalted and the 8-pound drop, and then the Forge Fiend spawn went up. So I mean, I still play the same list, and it's arguably strictly better.
I think
Uh,
people will look at the Land Raider as an alternative, because
I
it,
think so
it
too.
does fulfill the role of like, oh yeah, now I can also like cut a rhino, you know? So if you were like double rhinoing before, I mean, like that's saving you what's a rhino like 85, and then the two Forge Fiends now are going to be running you at what is it, 340. So
340.
like you put that together, you're actually saving quite a bit of points there if you take a 220 Land Raider. I mean, like, wait, what is that?
Yeah, but they don't kill the same things, right? Like
They
there's
don't kill the same things, but like the Land Raider can kill like armor that the
sure,
Forge Fiends cannot.
sure, but
But
we have
also what I found, right? Okay, like just fucking listen to me. So I've been running a Land Raider before the MFM and the balance slate for like quite a while because like I had this like inkling that the Forge Fiends weren't going to make it through the slates. I was like, I better practice with a different gun platform. And like people are because I played with both. I did the double fiends for a while and then I switched to the Land Raider. And all my regular opponents were so much more scared of the Land Raider because it's so much harder to predict what it's gonna do, right? Number one, it's really hard to get out of its rapid fire range. Whereas like the Forge Fiend, you can just like walk away from it and be like, all right, this is gonna be fine. The Land Raider is like, you want to walk 24 inches away from me? Like you can. I'll chase you down. Um, It's like pretty good in combat as well. Like, I mean, I told you the story about how I like rescued the one Exalted 8 band from 10 orc boys at the last tournament I was at because it
Yeah.
just drove the Land Raider in and it killed all of them. Serves as a transport. But the thing that I found the most for it was that like it's so durable. With a 2-up save and very easy way to pop smoke, Demon Prince just walking around next to him being like, hey, you've got smoke. So you're effectively at a 1-up save because you get the benefit of cover most of the time you kind of have that anyway. Obviously, you also get stealth. Then in detachments like Vow, you can give him -1 to wound as well if you want. It's a bit of a fringe choice, but whatever. And you've got a transport capacity, and like I found myself like disproportionately getting units like into the Land Raider compared to what I normally have with the Rhino, where the Rhino just like drops his cargo and then like leaves. The Land Raider was like this bunker that I would like drive into, somewhere around the middle of the board and everyone would just like jump in, jump out. And so I could be like, okay, I'm constantly projecting next to like 3-inch disembark. And I thought it was really good. And sometimes the las cannons showed up and killed God, and sometimes they did nothing. Like the las cannons were like such a secondary thing for me, where I was like, I like that they could do something, but I way prefer that my opponent is super scared of what they could do rather than what they're likely to do, which is not that much.
Eh,
So I think people are going to look at it, and I think it's
yeah.
cool now.
I think it really has a home, obviously, in Gore Trek. Especially because
Or
you're
in
fun.
Slaughterbound.
You have a funny reactive moving lane raider, or I guess Slaughterbound. Huge problem of the 8 pound is that they're still not durable,
Yeah.
which we're gonna get. Actually, I'll save that talk for a second here. Chaos Spawn went up 10 points, probably warranted. If they go up any more, we're really gonna have to start making some tough choices. Obviously, they're very good. They're our equivalent of jump pack intercessors, essentially in an army. I really don't want to see them go up anymore. They are really good. I don't know if they're 100 points good, but 90 points, I'm still gonna like begrudgingly take them. Terminators drop
Three
20
head
points.
takers are 5 points cheaper. I'm gonna float that into your brain.
Okay, Chaos Terminators drop some points, 10 points, 20 points. They still have some of the worst data sheet abilities in the game.
I think
Uh,
much like Angron, the improvements of the Exalted Ape Band firmly made sure that Terminators are going to remain extinct on competitive tables, which is sad. I'm
8
actually
pound.
bringing 5 to No Retreat in a couple of weeks, so that's
So I,
gonna be fun.
I guess I'll start with Exalted Apon dropping 20 points per three.
Huge,
In addition to the buff they already got.
huge.
You could have kept him at 160, and I still definitely would have been playing 1 3-man with the Slaughterbound. Because
And
now
they're
you
gonna
would
go
put
back to 160. Like
you,
they're next
but
late, they're
probably,
back up. Yeah.
probably. Slaughterbound plus the Exalted 8 pounds, like 250-ish points for a kill 99% of the game, Dara
We're
unit.
back.
We're back.
99.9.
99.9% of the game. And because the Exalted 8 pound dropped 20 points, and we can't have anything named Exalted being more expensive or being cheaper than regular 8 pound also had to go down. I'd argue regular 8 pound were better than Exalted 8 pound at the pre-slate time period.
Now they just have different jobs, which is
Now they have
great.
different
It's
jobs,
like
which,
what they were designed in this codex to be.
yeah, it used
So,
to be like, stop taking Exalted, just take more 8 pound. Now it's like,
yeah.
well, what's the split of 8 pound to Exalted? Because they do different things.
Yeah.
Um, so the one thing I'll caution everybody on is they might jump straight into like, 8 pound dropped. I'm just gonna play 25 8 pound. I'm not talking about anybody in the chat right now, but just be
What
careful
the
because
fuck?
you are going to just die very quickly off the table. Because remember,
Mm.
you're not durable, so we need to find ways to keep them durable. We need to find ways to keep them
There's
safe.
only
Don't
one
get
detachment where you can do that. Um, but boy, can you do it in that detachment.
well, just be cautious because you can get tabled fast and you can inadvertently make the game harder on yourself. So I don't think this is a specifically for the Berserker War Band players out there. Don't go running to 8 pound trying to spam them. I think like
I think what it does is like it pretty much automatically puts 3 Exalted 8 Band in a lot of people's lists as like a viable and reliable
it,
anti-tank option.
and I would say right now like Glaive is prime real estate on the Slaughterbound right now, especially I'd say even over Mo. Like I said before,
Oh yeah, for sure, for
because
sure,
when
for sure.
somebody like a Satan comes up to you and halves your damage, this is old Mo math. Honestly, after rolling this guy out on the table a few times after I played him, he feels like day one Mo. Um, they half your damage. You go from 2 to 1 plus 2 back up to 3. So having glaive is really important for pushing damage through on things that like Satan that half damage. Same thing, like if Thousand Suns blank your damage, you go to 0 + 2. You're still 2 damage. So that's pretty important. As soon as you drop Glaive, now you go back to being an inconsistent unit at killing. You go back to the problem you were before of a 250 point unit that dies to a stiff breeze that no longer kills like I don't know Lords of Dread Knight that's -1 damage, right? That's what you don't want to have happen, right? So Slaughterbound just ran around the corner and ripped Glaive straight out of Mo's hands and ran off screaming with it. This is the first time I haven't run Glaive on Mo like ever. I know I guess I did favored Mo for a little bit, but yeah, Glaive is no longer Moe's to have. Slaughterbound just took it and jumped into the warp. And I would keep it there. That is my personal opinion. Um, and I think in all of the other +1 damage detachments, I would also look at running that uh, enhancement on Slaughterbound. I know like the Lord on Juggernaut's kind of cute when you have him 4 damage chainsword with 3 damage horns. Or no, 4 damage horns, 4 damage chainsword, and some of the other detachments, but just chill a little bit. I think it's probably best on the Slaughterbound.
Yeah.
That like a 3-man plus a Slaughterbound, like you never see that revive ability pop off, but like in Warband or any detachment that has defensive buffs, um, sometimes you just scam your opponent and 3 8-bound live when
Yeah, it
it's
comes up. It does come up.
and
It
it's
does come up.
backbreaking for your opponent when they leave a Slaughterbound +1 Exalted alive. I had that happen last
It
night
is
where
now,
an
yeah.
Exalted was left at 1 wound next to Slaughterbound, and I was like, that's rough. You're going to the Shadow Realm. Thanks for my 50-point model back.
Uh,
And then was a healthy squad by the end of the game. So that's my 2 cents on that. And speaking of ways to keep your 8-pound safe, because if you want to play more, keep them in a giant metal box would be my recommendation if you're going to be playing them in alternate attachments, especially if you're going to be spamming them, because they do just die.
they do. They do. Yeah, for sure. They're still super fragile. But boy, do they hit hard now. And it feels less bad because, like, I mean, they're so much cheaper. Like, they exalted, especially, At 140 points, I'm like, yeah, I can treat this. I can treat this bad, and it's not gonna feel too bad, you know?
Yeah. And then, like I said, Forge Fiend +20, Karn +15. He deserved it. Don't lie to
Yeah,
yourself. He
yeah.
deserved it, and he's still auto take.
I haven't seen a
Um,
single person saying that the current increase was unjustified. We
Everybody
all
saw the
know.
spawn go up and you're like, yeah, Karn went up, yeah, Forge Fiend went up 20. It was like probably yeah, but nah. And then everything else that dropped, sans the Terminators, was like pretty good to see.
Angron dropped.
Somehow became less relevant while dropping
Yeah.
25 points, yes. So with that, I think we're just gonna just shoot off a couple lists that we came up with on the fly gut check. I know I was talking about doing a Challengers Cup here soon, which is the biggest team tournament I think in the world. I think it's bigger than WTC. It's definitely not as competitive, highly competitive as WTC, but it's basically the LVO equivalent of teams events. So I'm really excited to go. And one of the lists that I came up with that I'm debating taking, which is all brakes, no gas, or all gas, no brakes. Yeah, that's
All
what it is.
brakes, no
Okay,
gas.
all brakes, no
The
gas.
ultimate passive aggressive list.
Which you cannot afford to be passive aggressive with this list. So starting it off, we have the Demon Prince of Hel with Helm of Brazen Iron. We have Helm Prince's back. Sorry, I got rid of you during Nova. You definitely let me down at Nova, but you're back. We have Karn, a Master of Executions with no enhancements. I don't think it's required. And we have the Slaughterbound with Berserker Glaive. And we have a Slaughterbound with Favorite of Khorne. So 2 Slaughterbounds are on this list. We have 2x10 Berserkers. I still think the double Berserker pressure is very important, right? You want to have multiple missiles you can launch in any direction with advancing charge to really make your opponent squirm at the table. Threaten that 17-inch threat range. And I know the Mo squad doesn't hit as hard, but it hits hard enough, right? It hits hard enough. We have 2 squads of Spawn, 2 squads of 8-pound, 2 squads of Exalted 8-pound, 2 Forge Fiends, and a squad of Jackals. 2,000 points on the head, and that is a lot of stuff. Oh, sorry, I'm also missing the Gormonger squad should be in there too.
Yeah, it's a bit of a kind of like
Okay, sorry. Back
you
up. No,
look at
no,
it.
back up. Sorry.
Oh,
Back up. I read off the wrong list. 2 Spawn, 2 8-pound, 2 Exalted, no Forge Fiends, Jackal, Gormongers, which will have the list posted up on the side. So quick little asterisk there. So drop 4 Fiends, Forge Fiends, went all melee, but this is a lot of stuff on the table.
It's I mean, like you could have written that list in the index, you know. Well,
Yeah.
probably not. It was probably more expensive in the index. But yeah,
Oh,
it's just El Clasico.
and the list was 2,035 points pre-slate.
Mm,
So it
yeah.
dropped 35 points. And I was like, sweet. Um, Obviously we're not running fortunes. Big surprise, but I mean, I'm playing only dense
Oh
terrain.
man, I said this in like the Patreon Discord during the week. Like we literally played 2 years of 10th edition without guns. We'll be fine. You know, if you want to drop the Forge Fiends, it's gonna be okay. Like,
Also, we have better tools to handle playing with no guns now than we did
mm,
then, right? We
yeah,
have
yeah.
Pile and Consolidate 6 goes a long way, and Chaos Spawn go a long way. Like previously, like I said, we did not have good answers to screens, and we did not have good skirmishing. Well, we have good answers to screens because that just answered itself, and the Pile and 6 just lets you go past the screen. And now we have really good skirmishing, and we have infiltrating. So we have ways unlike in the index, to occupy board space, put pressure on your opponent, right? And if you're playing on a hyper dense, like I honestly, if you look at your terrain packet and it is incredibly dense terrain favored, I would jam this list all day. Right? I think this list is gonna be really fun. I kind of played a variant of it at Derek Doom too. I was playing Big Red in there just to have fun, but cut Big Red for like Exalted 8-bound Slaughterbound and like another squad of Spawn basically.
Yeah, feels pretty
Um,
good.
and the list has two Slaughterbounds. Obviously, you're gonna have one with Glaive and reserves. You have the other one where you can like break glass in case of emergency. Typically, he's in the back holding the Demon Prince's hand, giving him loan op. But if your opponent's playing knights, you attach him to the other Exalted 8-bound squad, and now you have four things in your list that one tap a big knight. It's great, sweet, love it. So that's my list. What about you,
I
Dara?
love it. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a list that dropped 140 points in this balance slate.
Oh
And
boy.
guess what 140 points buys you. And it might be on theme for this list. So we are playing what is the now official reemergence of the legendary Dabrowsi archetype, which those of you who joined us back earlier in the year will remember that as myself, Brian, and Josie's iconic Vessels of Wrath archetype with 18 Exalted 8 bent. And we're back in a different way. This is the Slaughter Band detachment. The Patreons will know it's very, very close to my heart. I have been oiling my body up, getting ready for this moment, and I'm so glad it's here. Um, so yeah, this list I had in the pre-slate, and it was a lot of fun. Was having good success with it, but always felt like I was one 8-pound unit short, and now I'm not. So we've got a Demon Prince, we've got two Slaughter Bands. One of them is just naked, and the other one is with Frenzied Focus, which is the crit hits 5. And then we have Lord Invocatus, who, as we kind of alluded to earlier, is a bit of a menace when you attach him to Exalted Ape Band in this detachment. But he's also just very, very important in Slaughterband for being able to like staple him to something and then say go through the screen. Because you've got a stratagem to do that as well. So when you have two 8-pound units that can just say you can screen me and it's not going to matter, puts your opponent in a pretty tricky situation. And kind of makes up for the fact of like if you don't have a whole pile of skirmishing or a whole pile of gun support, which this list does not. So in saying that, we move on to the next part of the list, which is triple chaos spawn. So you do have skirmishing in that sense, and you're early. Like you have to use the spawn extremely carefully in this list because if you squander them, you probably don't get any secondary points. Then we move on to the main component, which is a double 3-man 8-band and a 6-man, and a double 3-man exalted and a 6-man. Then we have a double jackal squad to round it off. So, yeah, you're back up to the classic 18 8-bound bodies with two Slaughter Bound and Invocatus, who, depending on your matchup, you do a variety of things with these guys. If you're playing into vehicle heavy, you put your crit hits 5 guy with the Exalted. So then you have a 6-man who are running around that can kill a knight. You've got a 3-man with the crit hits guy. You've got a 3-man with, honestly, probably Lord Invocatus. And those are three units that will quite easily one tap a knight with not many problems. If you're playing into like custodes or some durable infantry, just do all that, but with the regular 8-band. And then if you're playing into Eldar, you don't attach them at all, and you just go super wide. And then actually you have a ton of unit activations to chase
Yeah,
them down. Um,
and I'd say the strength behind Slaughterbound, which actually gets helped by the Exalted 8-bound buff, is that it has access to probably the strongest strat in the book. The 1 CP plus 1 damage. Right.
Yeah,
And the strength I'd say of this detachment is you can cherry pick at any point on the table, you're going to turn one of your units into a tactical nuke. And the six mans are already deleting anything they touch. The three mans, you can make a three-man delete anything it touches, right? You take a
yeah,
three-man and you put it into a big knight, and you're like, this has lethal sustained, and it's +2 damage.
yeah.
There's a serious chance that a squad of three exalted ape bound take down a big knight. So
Yeah, I mean, so like the way that I look at it is like when the Codex first launched, I played a lot of Slaughterbound. It was like my jam for a while. And what I really found was like you would always have like one unit which was like quite consistent for like killing the big threat, you know. You would have, we'll say, the guys with crit hits and +1 damage, and they would get the job done. But everything else felt a little bit like unreliable and kind of risky, whereas now it just doesn't because you can very easily, I mean, like if you're going into vehicles, which was what Slaughterban actually weirdly struggled with before. Now you've got like three units, which if you spread your characters and your buffs correctly, they will just kill three big threats. You know,
right.
all of them are going to be damage three. One of them is going to be a six man. One of them is going to be critting on fives, and the other one will be damage four.
And,
Like
and like we stated, that squad kills a Reaver Titan.
yeah. Oh, and and one of them probably has Invo as well, who is just like this guy who rocks up with a bunch of damage four dev wound attacks and a bunch of damage four rhino horns if you give him the extra damage CP, or they're just damage three if you don't. And like maybe he kills a knight by himself because he just rolled a couple too many sixes. He did some mortal wounds on the way in. So yeah, I think it's interesting. Like the pain point for me is that you have this really awkward conundrum where you really want to put a Land Raider in this to give them a bit of protection. And the only way that I can really find to do that is by dropping the Demon Prince. The problem with Slaughterban is that you've got quite a lot of 2 CP stratagems, and you really want to be using those stratagems because they're -1 to be wounded. So like that one's super important. You've got auto fight on death, and there's definitely one other one which my brain is escaping me right now. Maybe it's just those two. I think
I think it's
the
just
+1
those
damage
two.
is yeah, because the +1 damage is 1 CP, and then go through enemy units is 1 CP, and we don't
And then
talk about
yeah,
the other two stratagems.
what are you talking about? The best strat in the game. I I said the best strat in the game was in this attachment. It has to be the Battle Shock one, right?
No, it's the drop 6 inches away
Yeah,
and
that's
do
the
nothing.
isn't that you Battle Shocked them too? Isn't it that? Or
No,
is
no,
it?
no. There's a separate one which is a battle shock one.
Oh, so if you pay 2 CP, you can drop them down.
Yeah, you could do both.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. It's joke
No,
ass.
you have to be in
All
combat
right.
and you can't charge after you do the six
Oh
inch
my
damage.
God, what a terrible attack or strat.
Anyway, look, it's like I feel like it's kind of like if you want to play maximum risk, maximum reward World Eaters, this is how you do it. But I mean, literally, this list gains a full squad of Exalted 8 Band from where it was pre-slate.
And
And
that
all those Exalted 8 Band hit harder now.
harder, yeah. So I'd
And the
say
Slaughter Bands do as well. Like, I'm gonna put this out there. I think that Possessed Slaughter Band is the second best attachment in the Codex. I think there is still a substantial gulf between it and Berserker Warband. But I think it is now much better than every other detachment. Don't give me that face. It's better than Khorne Demonkin. I would happily beat your ass if you were on Khorne Demonkin 9 times out of 10 with Possessed Slaughterman.
that is true. You don't have an issue punting Scarbrand. That is
Nope. I
something you don't
sure
have an
don't.
issue. So I have no comment. I'm gonna have to see Dara put up a GT win before I respect his comment.
Tell me what it has a bad game into.
Uh,
Tell me what it has a bad game into.
I don't know, probably like Eldar. I don't know if that would help you at all.
You fucking Delta Split and I've got more activations
Delta
than you
split.
do in a warband list.
Yeah, but Fuigan like shoots once with his squad and like kills half your army.
No, he doesn't. How does he do that? He definitely kills one squad. And if he shoots into one unit
I'm
by
talking about him
himself,
plus his
they're
Tin
gonna
Man.
yeah, no, it's easy. You can just get one cheeky surge in
Eh,
there and they're all gone.
Well,
Easy.
we're gonna if you want to see this banter more, guys, we'll probably start closing it out here.
Yeah.
But we do have another video coming up. Like I said, where we'll be talking a little bit more on the where I would take Orban in a singles environment. Granted, I do think that all melee lists that I brought up, I actually think it has spice. I like it. I'd play it in a singles environment. I probably will at a couple GTs here for fun, just to see if it actually has legs. But we do have another video coming out shortly that will be covering kind of like my thoughts. Maybe Jack Harpster and I will talk through a couple variants and kind of agree on one. So if you want to be part of that banter too and see that exchange going back and forth, also any workshops or seminars, we actually do those now. Please consider supporting us on Patreon for only a coffee a month. You get to support the channel. It helps us put content like this out, helps us get around, and we try to give
You get
back
to
as much
see
as
the
we can.
oil. You get to see me
See the
falling
oil,
deeper and deeper into
you
olive
know,
oil.
and boy is even huffing huffing the oil.
Not only
So
that, I've managed to convert so many people to the oil.
you have
It's
a
good.
cult. It's just straight up a
I
cult.
have a cult, yeah, and I'm so proud of it.
So, in addition to that, please also check out, we do have some merch on the channel now. Our Baron Dice. We're actually almost sold out on them. As soon as we get sold out on them, we're probably going to be putting a second order in, because I know there's a bunch of you out there asking for round cornered dice, which y'all are weird. Square corner is better. But we will still give the people what they want. So, with that being said, Dara, you got any closing comments for us? What do you think about the slate?
Look, as I said at the start of the video, I think this is the most positive slate for positioning world leaders in a, I suppose, like way where I think we're going to see a lot of event wins. I think we're not going to see a huge shift in the overall win rate, but we're going to see an awful lot more people convert into event wins. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of a spike. And I am genuinely expecting to see someone to win a GT with Slaughterband. It's going to happen. Will it be me? Probably not. I'm washed as fuck. Will it be someone good like Josie? Yeah, probably. Like, I think she might be even taking them to LGT. So if anyone's going
Dang.
to do it, it's her. Yeah, I think we're in a fantastic position to capitalize on this meta, which is actually like this is like the meta is not hostile. There is no top
It's just,
predator. We
I,
we might actually be the top predator. Like
I'm
it's crazy.
just set up to bat. I'm ready to go. I mean, this
Yeah.
is the best
This is the best
environment.
meta for world leaders in 10th edition.
And the best part is I don't think Night Meta is dead. I
No,
think
that is so good
that's
for
the
us.
best part for
It's
us is
so
I
good for
actually
us.
think,
Yeah.
and we're really good. I think we actually have a really good play into Death Guard right now. And I think that Knights are still going to be stomping around. Like nothing really changed. Like Infernal Lance went okay. Like I said, their nerf was not really relevant to a lot of matchups. Broadly speaking, it's a non-factor. For us, it's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Them getting Feel No Pain or an invuln, that's going to be a big deal for us. But we can kill Knights, no problem now. They're still going to be around. Death Guard's still going to be around. Thousand Suns has taken a step back. A few of the other predators in the meta, Eldar are still there. That one's still sketchy, but the elf player actually has to be pretty good at the game to give you a rough time. I would know I've been bullied by Folger now a couple times on camera. If you want to witness that misery, you can. But I'm really excited. I think this is a great environment for me to be prepping a worlds list for.
I think I might
So,
actually win a GT, dude. It might actually finally happen.
uh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that guys, we'll leave you there. It's been great. Thank you for being around this long, and make sure you stay healthy, stay safe, and kill, maim, burn.